Good evening, everybody. You're very welcome to Bill's special exhibition. It's his 50th solo exhibition in this absolutely beautiful building. I'm sure you'd agree. I don't know if many of you have been here before, but I must say the first time I saw it, I was just blown away. And I'd like you to join me in giving a special warm welcome to the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. We're extremely grateful that he's come along this evening to mark this event, especially when he's got much more important things to do, like going to the Aviva Stadium for the match.
Yeah.
I would also like to thank his aide-de-camp, Colonel Stephen Howard, who's with us as well. Thank you very much for coming. And indeed to the number of the staff who were also here. All I'm going to do is introduce a very good friend of Bill's to do the sort of the intro, the opening, the officialdom. And the person in question is an artist, he's a poet, and he's also a musician. And his name is Tim Goulding. Tim.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Thank you. Tears came to my eyes when I came into this room and saw these paintings. I find them so moving, and it's from another world altogether. Just thinking of Salvador Dali to start with, who said we couldn't find the artist, so we had to hang the paintings. Anyway, dear friends, old and new, it's a great privilege to say a few words about our Allihies undercover artistic president and in front of our beloved national one. Prepare for an adventure into Griffin land where pigs actually can fly. Billy's work belongs to that tribe of creators who have no option, but they have to paint. And Louis Le Brocq once said to me, never encourage anyone to be an artist. It's something one has to do, not choose to do. And to Billy, painting comes as naturally as breathing, obeying what Kandinsky called the internal necessity. As he says, I paint from the inside out. Yes, this small band of true artists are driven by a mysterious imperative, which is to materialize the immaterial, all this regardless of reputation. Because the work by its nature is outside the mainstream of contemporary art and ploughs a unique furrow which I only recently cottoned onto. It falls between the extremes of Velázquez, who also worked outside contemporary modes and was a major influence for Francis Bacon, whose set Billy mixed with in his early years, and the mystic French painter Séverine Louis, whose work was guided by angels. There's a painting over there that's very much like one of her works, except that I think there's an addition of a dog and a bishop or something. But anyway, she worked by candlelight and purportedly mixed her paints from unconventional materials, such as earth, polish, and urine. But Billy doesn't use those ingredients, you'd be glad to know. And being non-religious, he's not guided by angels, but as he says, by the unconscious. One could fairly say that Bill is the love child of Velázquez and Séverine.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, Billy maintains that the work comes from the primordial soup at the heart of creation. And this somewhat extravagant claim emanates from his modus operandi. He notes that he becomes a conduit as he works. A figure might appear on the canvas, and immediately another one is called in, and then a third one, and then a fourth one comes in and starts arguing with the first one. And before we know it, we have a whole multitude of Spanish mendicants, noblemen, and a dog or two, not to mention a human cannonball. You'll see a human cannonball in that painting over there. And along the way, lots of mistakes come in droves, and they're welcomed because he maintains that nature makes mistakes. Maybe you could consider that. I don't know if it does. Anyway, this all points to a man who's been painting non-stop in his studio in Allihies, County Cork for the last 15 years. And he's probably the most dedicated artist I've ever met. And the canvases, the dramatis personae of the canvas figure Spanish noblemen, judges, nudes, barristers, both clothed and nude. You see a nude barrister over there. and politicians too, excusing your presence. And, well, you're not a politician anymore. Painters and circus performers. So the whole theatre of characters that we see here are portrayed in rich, thick colours applied by his fingertips. Because I was telling to Billy one day that there's a professor in the College of Art in London said that artists should spend half their time on their palette and the other half on the canvas. And I asked Billy one day, how much time do you spend on your palette? And he said, I don't have one. And then he told me that his palette is his left hand, so the colours go on there, and his brushes are on the right hand, so he just goes like that, you know. Anyway, I mean, Billy said that 10 brushes are better than one. And Fintan Burke, who I haven't a clue who he is, but he did observe colour is his voice and symbolism is his language. So I think that's it, but it's really lovely to see you all here. And I'm just so moved by the paintings, I must say. So I present to you a true original with the zeal of his hero, Vincent.
Thank you.
How I came into touch with Bill Griffin a very long time ago, and I'm so pleased that the sheer brilliance and the incredible integrity with which imagination is allowed to express itself is so expressed in these words. I met Bill, and I want to say as well, what is happening in Allies is incredibly important. I remember when Sabina and I visited Allies a long time ago. I was on my way to the Buddhist monastery, which had another serendipitous consequence, because it was there a dog of mine had died, and there I saw my first Burmese mountain dog stretched out on the fire. And after that, I have, as I was saying, made a wonderful acquaintance with that wonderful breed that is there. I have to say about Allies and about indeed your good self, in Spain and I stayed on it. We've often thought about it. Our children were very young. And what I thought about the community that had located itself in this place, it was as if a rugged, diverse set of experiences of nature and of the different arts of sculpture and writing and poetry and the visual arts, and also colour and so on, was something to which they had escaped, and it was allowing for something quite extraordinary, because the range of the artists who were in that community weren't under any pressure to conform to any one of their versions of aesthetic. There was that freedom in it. I remember as well, I was minister, then I think I bought one of your paintings about a bog burning, which was about the best thing about the Eurovision Song Contest. But I think that it is a real pleasure. And I think there's something that I should say as well. In that introduction, Mr. Goulding has just given you the rest of it about what sometimes we're pushed to ask ourselves, maybe again, and sometimes rarely in extreme joy, but also often in some despair, as to what is the best of the essence in us all. And I think that's what you get in Bill's work, is this instinct of, if you like, the curiosity and the beauty, and the incredible way in which images can keep encountering each other. And there's an energy in that is an energy of hope and of life, and of all the figures as well, colliding with each other, reminding us that it is in the imperfection of all of those collisions anything human is expressed. And I want to, because Vera Carpenter has given to say how very, very much she appreciated Bill's message to her recently when she had been speaking of the importance of peace. What is in fact actually in all of the good art like this is a turmoil of beauty and of possibility, and all of that is so much superior to the acquiring the means of threats that are destructive. It's an honour and a privilege to know Bill Griffin's work, to know the man himself, and also as well, I think, it's almost like an artistic composition itself, the diversity of people who are gathered here this evening. Bergach Bama, Middelweg.
Some honor. This is Alan Keane, and this wouldn't have happened without us and his team. And we all know who you are. And Deirdre, of course, my Deirdre. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. If I was, I wouldn't be painting. I'm dyslexic, and I suppose, you know, I see things through colour. So thank you very much. You're all very welcome. I see all my old, see Charles over there and Tommy Osborne. Tim, of course, who is my great friend and the love of my life. Mark, the idea who does framing and hang hung them today in record time. You couldn't believe it. 2 hours it took them to hang up 3 minutes. So thank you again, all of you, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.